Welcome back to St. Louis. Moments away from kickoff. Let's check in downstairs with Laura Oakman.
Hi, Tom. First thing Tom Coughlin talked to his team about this week, the physicality of a Greg Williams defense and how important mental discipline is going to be today. Eli Manning preparing his rookie receiver for this all week, telling Odell Beckham Jr., they're going to try to get in your head. Don't let them. Beckham telling me, that stuff doesn't bother me. I know I can't get penalties today, but I also know sometimes you got to get your point across. Tom?
Well, all eyes will certainly be on this incredible rookie, Odell Beckham Jr., who missed the first 4 games of this season with a hamstring injury going all the way back to the preseason. All he's done is hauled in 71 passes from his buddy Eli Manning and closing in on 1,000 yards.
And just imagine, Tom, if he played the first 4 games of this season, what his numbers and production would have been if he did.
Rams won the toss, chose to defer to get the football in the second half. So coming out to begin this drive, the opener of the game, quarterback Eli Manning has never lost to the Rams of St. Louis. Today makes his 166th consecutive regular season start at quarterback of the Giants. The longest active streak in the league by any player at any position, and the 3rd longest by a quarterback in the history of the National Football League.
Hey, go 55! 55!
No Rashad Jennings today, so the rookie Andre Williams will carry the bulk of the workload today, and that's a gain of 3 on first down. And certainly we'll be watching against this vaunted defensive line, the Giants' offensive line.
Everybody understands how important Odell Beckham Jr. and Andre Williams are going to be today. But the front 5 of the Giants' offensive line have got to do a great job of communicating and being on the same page, because this defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, will throw every blitz imaginable out.
Get it away quickly. That's a good start for Manning and the Giants. Catch made by the tight end, Larry Donnell, and that is a first down up to the 34-yard line. Rams have gone 12 consecutive quarters without allowing a touchdown.
And James Laurinaitis is the key to everything. He is the one who runs the show. It's going to be important that he communicates to the back end after he gets a pre-snap diagnosis of what he thinks Eli Manning and this offense is going to do.
Hey, 55!
In the hands of Andre Williams. Giants have had a very hard time running the football after Williams had the monster game, you may remember, down in Tennessee, where he carried 24 times for 131 yards, including a 50-yard touchdown. But he did next to nothing after Jennings had to leave the game last week against the Redskins, re-injuring the ankle.
You know, those two, Jennings and Williams, have been almost a thunder and lightning combination for the New York Giants. But with Williams starting today and going to be getting the bulk of the carries, it's going to be important that he gets those yards after contact, but protect the football.
All day to throw, and that is Ruben Randle going up to get it. In traffic, Randle down at the 18-yard line. Last week was the second time in the last 3 games he was benched in the first quarter, and now a big play in the first quarter today.
Starting off, they do a nice job of setting up the play action. They get the Rams defense to step up, really be able to stretch that ball and hit Ruben Randle down the field, who's playing this week in the first quarter. And in the past weeks, he's been set out, and Tom Coughlin hasn't played him from being late for team meetings and other things.
After the last 3, no gain on first down, and Gill again goes to Williams. Eli Manning told us yesterday in our meeting with him that he really likes going no huddle. Although after starting the game no huddle, they're down in the red zone and now will huddle.
You know, being a former offensive lineman who played with Eli Manning out on the football field, playing at the line of scrimmage and going no huddle is what allows him to just think instead of reacting.
Eli is split wide left, and taking it out of the backfield is Beckham Jr. And that didn't fool anybody. It went nowhere fast.
Well, I can honestly say that's the first time I've ever seen Eli Manning out there at that position, that's for sure.
Probably the first time he's ever been out there. And I don't think wants to go back anytime soon.
I don't think we will either. I don't think we'll see him out there. I don't think the Rams defense was scared about his speed and his threat downfield.
Tom Coughlin, his 11th season as head coach of the Giants. Stories continue to be written. On all the talk shows, will he be back for a 12th? Third down and 10. Manning quickly throws. Look at the one-handed grab by Beckham Jr. He is denied first down yardage. What a catch this is. It might not be a first down. It might not be a touchdown. But what a catch this is by Beckham.
They've got Ruben Randall and Beckham out there. They look like they were going to run a little rub route, get him out to the sideline. But what a catch by Odell Beckham Jr. He just continues to show why he is an elite receiver in the NFL.
Well, it's one thing to go up and get it in the end zone. We've seen some of those. Some during the pregame warm-up. That one right there in traffic. 29-yard field goal try by Josh Brown, the one-time Ram, and it is good. So on the opening drive, the Giants have the drive stall inside the 15, but they come away with 3, thanks in large part to the grab by Ruben Randall.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your airfare now at southwest.com.
3-0 Giants. Eli Manning perfect on the opening drive. 3 of 3, 68 yards. And so now we'll get a look at the St. Louis Rams on offense. Benny Cunningham, 3 yards out of his own end zone. Spun down, the ball is loose. Still loose. And it looks like the Giants have it. It looked like Nat Burhay, the rookie, who had the football at the bottom of the pile, but we wait for them to pull everybody off of it. And they're saying Giants football.
Big momentum play, changing play right there on special teams to get a turnover, get the ball into the red zone right away to start your second possession. That is exactly what the Giants needed to do here on the road. Start fast and create those turnovers early.
Looked like Orleans Darkwa, who they just picked up 2 weeks ago, forced the fumble of Cunningham. And indeed it was a rookie Burhay who recovered it. Normally it's the Rams that are the fast starters in games this year, among the very best in that category in the NFL. But now it's the Giants who are trying to add to a 3-0 lead. Football at the 21-yard line. Threw a fastball right by the ear of Andre Williams. First incompleted pass for Manning.
You're going to see Darkwa come in and get a nice hit on Cunningham. And this is exactly what Tom Coughlin said. He said he needed the special teams to step up and play fast in this game and create these turnovers because they feel that is the only way that they're going to be able to stay ahead of the chains here in St. Louis against this defense.
Second down and 10. They hand it off to Williams. And he's down to the 16-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 5. It'll bring up third down and 5.
This New York Giants offensive line has been playing much better here in these last couple of games. Consistent guys up front. They haven't had to change the lineup. And I know, speaking to Coach Flaherty, the offensive line coach, it's truly made a difference in the production on this offense.
Well, they spun the ball to 17, so it is 3rd and 6 for the Giants. Blitz coming. Giants do well to pick it up. Catch made by Preston Parker, and he will lean inside the 10. There is a penalty flag, 2 of them.
Holding. Number 65. Offense. 10-yard penalty remains. Third down.
That's Will Beatty locked up with Robert Quinn. Certainly worth watching that matchup here today.
And most certainly will be, because Robert Quinn on that one showed his explosiveness, went for the rip roof right around William Beatty. William Beatty was clearly grasping around. His feet got beat right at the point. Easy penalty to throw.
Darkwa checks into the backfield. Rookie out of Tulane. They signed him in the middle of November off Miami's practice squad. 3rd down and 16. Four-man rush. Manning a lot of time. Throw is on the money to Ruben Randall. It depends on the spot. They needed to get to the 11-yard line for a first down, and it's right there on it.
Ruben Randall is going to run the curl, is able to get it to the sticks and come back right against Trumaine Johnson, who is a very good cornerback for this team. This is a nice start for the Giants offense, mixing in the runs, getting the play action going. But the most important thing that they're going to need to do is punch it in right now, because this defense of the St. Louis Rams is the best in the red zone. 31 possessions for offenses down there, but only 14 touchdowns given up.
Well, they say it was good enough for a first down. They put it in the hands of the rookie Beckham. Had a very short gain, a little bit of contact after he was out of bounds. And that had a lot to do with our conversation with many of these Giants yesterday, that St. Louis's defense plays right on the edge.
I know for myself personally, when I was a New York Giant playing up against Greg Williams' defense, when he was in New Orleans or Washington, as an offensive line, we always said, go get your running backs and wide receivers out of the pile, because they're going to try to hit as many times and get as many stuff as they can.
Odell Beckham Jr. in the back of the end zone, a touchdown. Penalty flag is thrown. For Beckham, if it stands, it would be his 10th touchdown of this season. And remember, he missed the first 4 games.
After the touchdown, taunting. Number 13, New York. The penalty punch out is good. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And naturally, Tom Coughlin saying, hey, come on now.
You know, he's proven himself out on the football field. He just scored a touchdown. That's the last thing you need. There's a little, looks like miscommunication between Trumaine Johnson and T.J. McDonald on the back end. That's an easy toss and catch right there for Eli Manning and Odell Beckham Jr. to get a very important touchdown here early and to break this red zone and 12 quarters without giving up a touchdown.
He is just tied past Beckham. Jeremy Shockey's rookie record for receptions in a year by a Giant, and the record tire and touchdown. So we mentioned this St. Louis Rams defense under Greg Williams had not allowed a touchdown spanning 12 consecutive quarters. That is the 4th longest streak in the NFL going back to the 2000 year. But after the turnover by Cunningham on the kickoff return, they'll give it another try. And he's up to the 37-yard line. So we finally get a look at the Rams offense. And here we are nearly midway through this opening quarter. The flag comes in. A lot of talking, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. Even the kicker, Brown, getting involved.
That's the last place you want to be as a kicker, jumping on a pile or in the middle of a scrum like that. Kick the ball and make sure you get to the sidelines.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 3 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
They're going to get him for jumping on the pile.
Kick the guy right in the face. That'll generally get you a flag. We're cruising along the mighty Mississippi, the gateway to the west, St. Louis, Missouri. 10-0 Giants over the home team. After the penalty, Sean Hill on first down throws it behind Stedman Bailey, but a nice catch by the second-year wideout of West Virginia.
This is where they get Josh Brown with the old mule kick here, giving him the kick to the face. It's a clear penalty, and Coach Coughlin obviously is disappointed with him doing that. And believe me, when you have those penalties, Coach Coughlin is not scared to confront you about them.
All right, first play from scrimmage for this Rams offense is a gain of 5. And on second down, the rookie Trey Mason, who has really come on strong as this season has moved forward. He has his 2nd most rushing yards behind the Bengals' Jeremy Hill among all rookies in the National Football League. Sean Hill, now 34 years old, out of Parsons, Kansas, came into the league as an undrafted rookie free agent with Minnesota. Stops along the way with the 49ers in Detroit, signed with the Rams this offseason. Came in as a backup to Sam Bradford. He was hurt, as you may remember, in the preseason. Hill started the first game, injured his quad, and just got his job back 5 weeks ago. 3-3 as a starter this year. Tavon Austin slips inside the 30. Down to the 29-yard line. Boy, there are games that have been going on already today with incredible playoff implications. The Panthers won. They're now in first in the South. New Orleans eliminated in the NFC South. It'll come down to the Panthers against the Falcons next weekend for the division title. Green Bay has clinched a playoff spot. Detroit's already clinched a playoff spot. They will play next weekend for a divisional title in a first-round bye. Hill lays it off to Harkey. And he is chopped down at the 28-yard line. Big one later tonight, of course, out in the NFC West, Seattle and Arizona. But right now, we look at the Rams on offense.
Tavon Austin is a home run hitter. He has the ability, whether it's on reverses, whether he lines up in the eye, he's at the slot. He has been able to open up this offense from Schottenheimer and the rest of this group, and he is a threat because you've got to pay attention to where he is on the field.
They're down at 4, and Hill is wrapped up and sacked by Jason Pierre-Paul. My, oh my, has he come on strong here of late. 7 sacks in the last 3+ games.
They're going to run a basic tackle and twist. Jenkins is able to split it through and get the penetration. JPP comes around. That's his 7th sack in the last 3, and he has 2 forced fumbles as well. He's really been putting on a pass rushing clinic as of late because we never know. This may be the last time you see him in the New York Giants uniform.
Yep, he is a free agent along with Antrell Roll at the end of the year. This will be a 51 field goal drive for Zerline. He has plenty of legs. One of the strongest legs in the league. And that one is launched through the uprights to get the Rams on the board. So they take advantage of the penalty by Brown and cap it off on a field goal. As David brought up earlier, Tom Coughlin preaches all the time about penalties, silly penalties. You take in the taunting penalty on the touchdown by Odell Beckham Jr. There's 15 before you kick it off. Then when you do kick it off, 15-yard penalty on the kicker, Brown. 30 yards aiding that field goal drive for the Rams. Preston Parker brings it up to the 25-yard line, and back on offense come Eli and the Giants. There's a penalty flag. Wait a minute now. Penalty flag down on the play. We did not see it along the sideline. Jeff Fisher wondering what this is all about. Pete Morelli, our referee today.
Offside, number 53 of the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty be added to the end of the run. First down, timeout.
So they'll start the drive at the 30. The youngster Ben McAdoo, offensive coordinator of the Giants, up against longtime NFL defensive coordinator Greg Williams. First down carry to Andre Williams, and he's up to the 35, a gain of 5 on first down. Touchdown a moment ago by Odell Beckham Jr. ties Jeremy Shockey for most in a season, receptions in a season. And then after the taunting, his head coach reminds him that's not what we're counting on or looking for. Next catch, and he will be the Giants' record holder for a rookie in a single season. Pretty nice catch right there. Late turning around is Daniel Fells, and that's a first down up to the 47-yard line.
Nice job by Daniel Fells recognizing that they brought the blitz. He gets to his hop. He's able to catch that one, get the yards after catch, move the chains here for this offense. This is the start that Eli Manning and Ben McAdoo said that they needed during this football game. Have a nice balance between the run and the pass. And when they do bring the blitz, we've got to make sure that we release the ball and they don't get home.
8 passes, 6 rushing attempts for the Giants. Eli 7 of 8, already over 100 yards and a touchdown. Williams looking for room, and not much there. T.J. McDonald comes up from a strong safety spot. We'll ring in the new year on Fox Sports 1. We'll bring you a marathon of Big East basketball. All 10 teams back-to-back, including a showdown between number 23 Butler and 7th-ranked Villanova. The marathon begins New Year's Eve, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and goes all the way to midnight, only on Fox Sports 1. Quiet start for this Rams defensive front until now. They bring the safety, T.J. McDonald, and that's the first sack of Manning today.
Andre Williams has him on this protection, but T.J. McDonald does a nice job of getting the inside spin move. Andre Williams, you've got to use your hands. You have got to punch him, and you have got to stop him. You cannot go in with 2 forearms and expect to come up with a key block on that type of blitz.
Well, the Giants really backed up 3rd and 14. They need to get to the Rams 43 for a first down. Blitz coming again. Dumped off to Donnell, and he is chopped down. There is a penalty flag down right in midfield. Gaines able to bring down Donnell.
I think that's going to be taken back. I think Preston Parker was blocking before.
Pass interference, number 83 of the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So for the first time today, the Rams defense forces a punt. You know, we talked about the 12 quarters they had gone before allowing a touchdown. Bear in mind, that touchdown was only the 2nd allowed in the 1st quarter all year long by this Rams defense. The only other touchdown as a team they surrendered was on a punt return.
And that was created off of the turnover on the kickoff return for the Rams. You put the ball in that position, any defense is going to have a tough time switching back to it and adapting right away.
Tavon Austin inside the 10. And look out for Austin. Down the sideline. No penalty flag. And he brings them, let's see where they spot it, to the 48-yard line.
For somebody his size, he shows toughness. He shows confidence. He fights right through 3 missed blocks on this one. But his ability to just continue to see one hole and hit it. That is the thing that you have to be as a returner. You've got to be fearless, and you have got to be decisive. Once you see that hole, you have got to hit it fast because it closes in a split second.
Mark Herzlich able to run him out of bounds after a 41-yard return. So now first down for the Rams. From their own 47 is where they spot it. Big hole for Mason. And he's tripped up at the 37-yard line. Corey Harkey leading the way for Trey Mason.
Really nice job of running the counter. You're going to see Harkey go in motion, but he does a great job of coming back, setting up that block on McClain. Trey Mason just taking it, bouncing it right off of it. And moving forward, Trey Mason has been unbelievable in the last 6 games. 5 of them, he's had over 100 yards, and he has really been that explosive and recharge that they've needed on this team.
He began the year as a backup to Zach Stacy, who had the big year as a rookie last year. In the air, and it's intercepted by Kerry Wynn. Catch it should have been made by Austin. Tipped into the air, and the rookie out of Richmond, who's getting a lot of playing time, is Johnny on the spot, his first career INT.
Anytime you throw these wide receiver screens, you've got to make sure that you throw it low and you do not throw it high for this reason right here. Anytime it is thrown high and you get that tip, you are definitely susceptible to any type of interception. That's just a tip drill, and it's crazy that a defensive lineman, Kerry Wynn, is the one that got involved in it, when usually it's the defensive backs that practice that week in and week out.
Quinn is coming off an excellent game. He had a team-high 7 tackles against Washington. And Tom Coughlin had a lot of good things to say about him after not playing the entire year to the last 3 weeks. First down carried by Williams. And that will be a gain of close to 6 yards right at midfield.
Preston Parker coming in on that one, making a good block. And that is the one thing about Preston Parker. He is not scared to get his hands dirty, do the blocking. You know, they motion him in and he'll hit on the edges against defensive ends. You know, you got to give this man a lot of credit for doing this as a free agent.
He was a guy that was out of football and was doing a lot of odd jobs. We have an injured player. It looks like E.J. Gaines down on a knee. Well, a rookie out of Missouri. He grew up just down the road in Independence, Missouri. E.J. Gaines still being looked at on the Rams sideline. He is the only rookie cornerback to start every game for his team in the NFL this year. Tremaine Johnson will replace him. 2 early turnovers for St. Louis. E.J.
Gaines has been on 97% of the defensive snaps, and his ability to step inside at the nickel for this team has been unbelievable.
Andre Williams on second down. Not much running room there, but you see bodies flying even right at the first sound of the whistle. That was Chris Long who came flying in there. Chris Long back for now his 3rd straight week. He was injured in the season opener. He is the longest tenured Ram, and of course the son of our own Hall of Famer at Fox, Howie Long. That'll be the final play of the opening quarter. 10-3 Giants. Fox NFL Sunday will continue in a moment. Set to begin the second quarter. It is a 3rd down. Right at midfield for the Giants, who lead 10-3. Donnell down the sideline. Beautifully thrown ball, an excellent. No, they're saying he did not hang on to the football through the process. Once he came down, did not maintain control.
Very nice play design. They tried doing the pick and rub. Everybody took their attention to Odell Beckham Jr., which was allowed Larry Donald to get down the field. And looks like a catch to me.
Boy, it sure does, especially after he had been touched. And this is a challenge flag thrown by Tom Coughlin. It looked like he had already been touched down with possession of the football. And a big pat on the back, Coughlin to Donnell.
New York is challenging the previous play that the receiver made a catch. Timeout.
So the judiciary will have a look. Pete Morelli, how about it?
After reviewing the play, the receiver did maintain control of the ball and was down by contact. The ball will be placed on the 26-yard line. First down, New York. New York will not be charged a timeout.
So they're saying down by contact after he had control of the ball. And it was only after contact was made. Ball's ripped out of there by Ogletree. 23-yard gain on the reception by Donnell, the former college quarterback at Grambling State. Go. Play action. Eli steps up. And after making a catch like he just made, Donnell couldn't handle that one. Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles, always a part of our telecast here on Fox. You're not surprised by that decision, are you, Michael?
No, a few people were on Twitter because they say it's the process of the catch, but the process ended when he was sliding on the ground with complete control, and then the defender in the second act pulled the ball away. That means it was a catch and down by contact.
All righty, Michael, thank you very much. And should anything come up today, we always like checking in with Mike Pereira, former NFL official. Well, there's a record setter right there by Odell Beckham Jr. If it stands, there is a penalty flag, and it won't.
65 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
So take away the record for the time being.
William Beatty gets his hands outside again the framework and just throws down Robert Quinn. So that's back to 2 holding penalties now against William Beatty. You see those hands outside and just grabs him outside and pulls him down. It's one thing if you put your hands on his back and push him, but the minute they see that jerk, that pull, they're going to hit you with it every time.
Fourth penalty of the game for the Giants. 2 of them helped aid the Rams' only score. Second down. What a lick delivered on Preston Parker by LaMarcus Joyner. And Parker hung on. You know, we're talking about some of the playoff scenarios in the NFC. The Steelers, with their win today, have clinched a playoff spot. They will play the Bengals next weekend. Potentially the NFC North in a first-round bye on the line. Potentially, depending. The Bengals have to play Denver tomorrow night. Denver would have another game against Oakland next weekend. New England today with its win takes care of home field advantage in the AFC playoffs. Manning throws a bullet again to Parker, but he's short. Appears to be short of the first down. Let's check in downstairs. An injury update with Laura Oakman.
Tom, quick update on E.J. Gaines. You guys talked about it. There hasn't been many of those. One of the things the coaches love best about this rookie is his durability, but right now he's in the locker room there undergoing tests for his shoulder. His return is questionable.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. This will be a 37-yard field goal try for Josh Brown. He has just missed one the entire year for the Giants. And that one right down the middle. Giants lead is 10 after the takeaway. Total domination as far as the numbers are concerned. But it is just a 10-point game. Giants in front 13-3. 12:29 to play until halftime. Brown puts a foot on it. And Cunningham will take a knee. Coach Coughlin today, you'll notice, wearing the strip of black along the shoulder area of his jacket, which of course will be worn by police departments, men and women all over the United States after the tragic story, horrific story about 2 New York policemen killed in their car yesterday, ambushed in just a cowardly act. And our thoughts and prayers are certainly with their many, many friends and family, and so many others. It's a terrible story. First down catch made by Kenny Britt, and that's a first down. Let's check in back in Los Angeles. Game break time. Hello, Joel Platt.
Tom, hello. And we go to Dallas, where it's been a quick morning so far for Des Bryant. That's a touchdown from Tony Romo, more like the afternoon. 19 yards. Colts failed a fake punt inside their own territory. That's why Dallas had the ball so quickly, 14-0, Tom.
All righty. Zach Stacy gets a carry. And he's met by Jonathan Hankins. Hankins is having a really good year. Second-round draft choice out of Ohio State. Has gotten better and better as this season has gone on. And they're very excited about Hankins moving forward. He had big shoes to fill with Linval Joseph when he left after last year.
You know, if you look at the Giants draft picks in the past, it started with Barry Cofield, second-rounder, Linval Joseph, second-rounder, and now Jonathan Hankins stepping in. His 7 sacks right now are the most by a defensive tackle since Keith Hamilton from back in 2000.
Run around and hand it off once more to Stacy. And he's up to close to the 45. They'll bring up third down and 3. We'd love to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's game in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thank you for all you do. God bless you all away from your families and friends, standing strong and proud for the greatest country in the world, the United States of America.
By 20! By 20!
Third down and 4. Blitz coming late. Hill just throws, and there's contact, but no flag. Brent was looking for a flag. Had contact with Zach Bowman in the secondary. Looked like Jameel McClain, playing through a tender knee, was able to get to Sean Hill, forcing the errant throw.
JPP was getting pressure around the edge, forced Sean Hill to step up in that pocket. Took a big hit right there by McClain. And that's the defense, and those are the type of blitzing schemes that this Giants defense and Perry Fuel have dialed up these past couple weeks and have really improved.
That one went over the goal line. It is called a touchback. And Johnny Hekker, boy, he sucked. Pro Bowler last year. Happy holidays and early Merry Christmas to all. Week 16 of the NFL season, and after taking that shot a moment ago, Rams quarterback Sean Hill being looked at on the Rams sideline. 13-3 Giants. Drive starts from the 20. And Andre Williams for maybe 2.
We're talking about Perry Fuel and this defense stepping up. There's the big hit right there by Jameel McClain. Getting it right in the rib cage, and JPP pounding it on as well.
Clock down to 3. They may have to burn a timeout. Nope, they get it off. Check it down to a run by Williams, and not a bad run up to the 27, where it brings up third down and 3. And Williams is alone now, 5'11", 230 pounds, out of Boston College.
His lower body leg strength, his ability to just continue to push piles and keep those legs driving, get those yards after contact have been unbelievable.
He's not had a great rookie year. I mean, his yards per carry barely over 3. But they've seen signs of what might come in years to come. Quick trigger. Preston Parker, first down across the 40 up to the 42-yard line.
Preston Parker does a nice job of spinning inside, getting those yards after catch, continuing to move the chains. Like I said, he is the guy that I've been very impressed with, and every single coach that we've talked to said he is just a fighter and a competitor.
Well, he said you learned your lesson. He was out of football, had a couple of decent years with Tampa Bay, but they decided to cut him loose. Giants brought him in as a free agent this year, closing in on 40 receptions. Garkla, his first carry, thrown to the deck, but not before a gain of 7, maybe 8 by Ogletree. You know, it's funny, some of the guys you bring in over the course of a year, and the Giants have placed 22 players on season-ending injured reserve. So they brought in a lot of guys, as they say, off the street.
They most certainly have. And I've talked to Ronnie Barnes, the head trainer of the New York Giants. He's been there for over 30 years, and he said he has never been in this position ever throughout those 30 years.
Looked like Laurinaitis, along with Long, standing up dark, was short of a first down. Very good start today for Eli Manning. His offensive line's done a good job.
They really have. They've really, at the point of attack in the run game, have done a good job of solidifying before going up to the second-level linebackers. And they really have done a nice job of protecting for Eli Manning and give him the amount of time that he needs to deliver the ball accurately.
Giants very good on 3rd and 1 this year. 15 out of 21. And they've run it 16 times, make it 17, and they cash it again. Hynoski in front of Williams to convert on 3rd and a yard.
Very nice play designed by Ben McAdoo, the offensive coordinator. Puts in motion Adrian Robinson to the other side. You see the St. Louis Rams defense kind of slide over, and they hit it to the backside. So very nice design on that to get the first down.
Much was made of McAdoo. They had the terrible preseason, you may remember. Terrible preseason on offense. They lost their first 2 games of the regular season, scoring a combined 28 points. But I think most people, even those most critical of the Giants this year, Williams for a yard, maybe. Mark Barron runs him over. I feel like the Giants in his first year under McAdoo have made progress. There's a very funny new series coming to Fox in January called Backstrom. Stars Rainn Wilson as a brilliant but eccentric cop who solves the toughest crimes. Series premieres Thursday, January 22nd on Fox.
I got him.
There have certainly been growing pains with this offense. Brand new system under McAdoo. But Eli Manning's numbers are much better than a year ago. Perfect throw to Ruben Randle inside the 30. And that'll move the chains. First down, Giants.
Going one-on-one against Tremaine Johnson. Just runs a fly, gets the better of him. Tremaine Johnson isn't able to get his head around to locate and find the football. That's an easy throw for Eli Manning.
Eli is off to a fabulous start here today. 13 out of 15, 185 yards and a touchdown. There's a record breaker for Odell Beckham Jr. And then contact after he was out of bounds. No penalty flag though. Or is there? Yes, there is. T.J. McDonald. He was the one that Beckham, you may remember, was flagged for taunting on the touchdown in the first quarter.
After the play was over, taunting, number 25, defense. After this to the goal, automatic first down.
T.J. McDonald ran out of bounds and out of his way to give that little extra talk and that little extra intimidation at his face. You just can't have that in a game that you're already down. Not to mention, what are you going over to talk trash about? You just got a first down and a nice catch.
You watch it every week, and it does make you wonder, what could he have possibly been thinking about? But only he can answer that. 15 yards will move it down to the 12-yard line, and a timeout going to be called by the Giants. And they're still talking down there. Beckham and McDonald. Well, Beckham's been lighting it up, as we know, even though he missed the first 4 games. And he is something to watch.
More people out here watching his pregame warm-up, taking pictures, you know, putting stuff up on Instagram to show and show that video footage. And you know, when we've had the Giants this year and we've gone around, you know, you think about the time here in St. Louis, you know, people would come to watch Mark McGwire hit BP and hit dingers, and it's no different right now for Odell Beckham Jr. They just want to see the amazing one-handed catches before the game.
4 yards shy of 1,000 on the year. Got his 10th touchdown of the year today. And again, he missed his first 4 games this season with that hamstring injury. So now the Giants all-time rookie record holder for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns.
5-2! Yeah! Go!
10th play of the drive. They give it to Darkwa, and he will find the end zone. A touchdown. First time in the career of Orleans Darkwa, a rookie out of Tulane whom they signed a little more than a month ago. How about that?
Breaks through 2 arm tackles. The last one to get his hands on there, which is surprising. He was able to get through Aaron Donald. Just keep those legs driving. He was able to find a seam and just run right through it. First one was Michael Hayes. Second one was Aaron Donald. He was able to continue to run through and cut that back, get a nice touchdown.
Darkwa, an undrafted rookie signed originally by Miami. They put him on the practice squad. And now this is his 5th game with the Giants since being activated. Congratulations to him. And the Giants are rolling here in St. Louis so far. Darkland, the rookie, his first career touchdown. 12-yard run. Took a hit, stayed on his feet, and all of a sudden his Rams defense, which had pitched back-to-back shutouts and wins over Oakland and Washington. They gave up 4 field goals last week in the loss to Arizona. And the Giants have come in here and put 20 on them with still 5 minutes to go in the first half. Short kickoff. He handled at the 18-yard line by Tim Barnes. Tell you what, David, you and I were just talking in the commercial break. Next weekend in the NFC, it looks like there will be a couple of games with huge either playoff or home field implications. You know, Green Bay and Detroit still have to figure out who's going to win the NFC North. It's going to come down to Carolina and Atlanta to who's going to win the NFC South. And there are more than half a dozen teams still alive for a playoff spot in the AFC.
And that is why you absolutely love the NFL in December, because we're really not going to know what's going to happen within these next 2 weeks. The most important thing that any team can do is win your football games. You cannot be worried about, well, if this situation occurs, well, we need this team to lose. You can't think about it that way. Take advantage and handle business yourself and get in the playoffs that way.
I'll tell you, one team today of all of them, well, really 2 teams that stand out, that make you wonder, how did it come to this? Would be the Saints, who lose again at home, officially being eliminated. As Hill is scrambling around on 2nd down and just throws it up down the sideline. Can you believe that? Looked like he was trying to throw it away, and Kenny Britt comes racing out of nowhere.
No signal.
Officials are still talking about whether the catch will stand, and now they say it is a reception.
Under pressure, you see him rolling out of the pocket. He gets that pressure, he comes wrong, keeps his eyes downfield. Puts that ball right where it needs to be.
It's a strong arm, man. 27-yard gain. Mason for a couple of yards. But you know, to finish that thought, the 2 teams, you just say to yourself, how did it happen today? Saints lose again at home. And they really got kicked around in that game by Atlanta. Were it not for a kickoff return of 99 yards, they were dominated today in New Orleans. And the other one, the Baltimore Ravens, they go on the road and just get clobbered by the Houston Texans. Casey Keenum at quarterback today.
That was a team that we had earlier in this year, the Baltimore Ravens, and I really thought that they were going to go to the playoffs and make a splash, but in that division and the way that this season has gone, they've really actually struggled down the stretch and haven't gotten the wins that they needed and should have won. And you couldn't be more right about the New Orleans Saints. They used to be dominant at home. Drew Brees throwing for almost 300 yards each and every one of those games, but there has been zero consistency out of that football team.
I mean, their defense has been brutal. And really, Brees has not had a Brees-type year, especially in big moments this season. Another late interception when he had a chance to bring him back in the 4th quarter today. Hill, 3rd down, again just throws it up, and this will be a flag. Intercepted by Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, still on his feet. Tackled at the 31, but a flag all the way down. Contact was made with Rodgers-Cromartie and Tavon Austin.
Pass interference, number 21, automatic, 1st down.
Big play right here for the Rams.
Very big play. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie has been playing lights out these last couple of weeks. Now that one, you see him just make the clear contact downfield on Austin. Gets the penalty, and it takes away that interception, which could have been another crucial momentum-changing play for this team.
It's a Rams a fighting chance to get back in it. That's a 26-yard penalty on Rogers Cromartie. Been playing through a lot of injuries this season, but playing well.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Really nice job with the cadence and snap count, given the hard count by Sean Hill to get Hankins to jump off sides.
First down and 5 after the penalty. They pitch it to Mason. Sniff in the end zone. He will flag down. No signal given on a touchdown. We wait on the penalty as finally it is signaled a touchdown for Mason. Well, he got a nice block out there by the wide receiver, Kenny Britt.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Number 26 defense. The touchdown is good. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Right there against Shockey Brown, we see Kenny Britt just physically dominating him and getting that extra push and that block for Trey Mason to get that touchdown. Antro Roll trying to come over to make the tackle. Clearly grabs the face mask and gets the penalty.
And they will penalize the Giants on the kickoff. So that makes it a 10-point game. We're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. trying to join some of the great names for New York Rookies of the Year. Boy, who is ever better than that guy? The great Tom Terrific. And in Giants lore, who's better than that guy? Patrick Ewing. Hard to believe that is almost 30 years ago. And, of course, just retired this year. After such a glorious career with the Yankees, Derek Jeter. How about that company? Seaver, Taylor, Ewing, Jeter. Not bad.
You know, when you think about it, a lot of Giants fans and a lot of people that have watched the New York Giants for a long time have compared Odell Beckham Jr.'s impact as a rookie on the offense, just like Lawrence Taylor when he was a defensive end slash outside linebacker hybrid who completely changed the game of football with the way he played. To get that comparison to that guy, talk about very impressive.
Well, you look at all those guys, and what, 3 of the 4 eventually won a title in the Big Apple. We know about Taylor.
Yep.
Jeter, multiple rings there. And, of course, Tom Terrific going all the way back to the Miracle Mets in 1969. The only one who did not win a championship there after so many great seasons. Patrick Ewing. So after the penalty, Rams going to kick off from the 50. This is where you see that short kickoff where they want to force a guy to try and run it out. Ideally, what we've seen lately is you'll kick that ball right at the 1-yard line, forcing them to return it. Didn't happen there. Have you heard about the new show Empire coming in January? Terrence Howard as a hip-hop mogul and his just-out-of-prison ex-wife. High drama, amazing music. The show for you, Empire. Premieres Wednesday, January 7th on Fox. Well, we talked about that a moment ago. A couple of touchdowns surrendered by this Rams defense after not giving up one over the last 12 quarters coming into the game. 2:18 to go. The Giants have 2 timeouts remaining. Beckham got a block, got a couple of them. And this may be a flag. And then a kick by Beckham. Tell you, this game's got a chance to get ugly. It might get ugly right now. It is getting ugly right now. You could see this coming from a long time ago. We've had a kicker kick somebody in the face. We've had a couple of late hits out of bounds. That one a very late hit out of bounds by Alec Ogletree. And Odell Beckham Jr. didn't like it at all.
Well, when he was going to get off to the block, Alex Ogletree actually pushed him and mushed him in the helmet and in the face mask, and that's when you saw the retaliation out of Odell Beckham Jr. But we've got to get back to football here. As much fighting and all this stuff that's going on, yeah, it's going to bring some intensity to this football games, but let's do it inside the lines. Let's do it out on the football field, and let's play a competitive game here.
I got to tell you, David Deal, you know, you brought it up earlier. It's clearly that's just a late hit, a late shove, and then a push, a kick.
Good thing Laura Oakman was able, our sideline reporter was able to get out of the way of that one because she was right there.
Get out of the way, Laura. Find safety somewhere down there. You know, you brought it up earlier, and you're a guy that played in the league, all-pro offensive lineman. You know what even further makes you wonder? You're talking about a couple of teams that are going nowhere. So why are you jawing? What have you done to jaw?
And that's the most disappointing thing out of it. Believe me, tempers get going, emotions get flying, but this is doing nothing to benefit either one of your football teams right now. Not to mention, with all this stuff that happens on the sidelines, with all the people involved, this is when people really get hurt in those big scrums and piles.
And David, it puts the other guys in a tough spot that aren't initially involved in whatever's going on, because you do have to feel like, I would imagine, don't you? You got to defend your teammates if something's going on.
Believe me, as an offensive lineman playing in the NFL for 11 years, you are a bodyguard. You're there to protect your guys. You're there to make sure that nobody gets cheap-shotted. And when it comes time like that, yeah, you're in there defending. You're pulling guys apart because you want to protect your guys.
Well, we're still waiting for Pete Morelli and company. The Rams are the most penalized team in the NFL, and they have that reputation.
Not a single referee right now, if you're looking, except for the one that was just picked up. And now the other one that's picked up, every single flag is out on the field right now.
It started very early. The talking, perhaps a little fuel to the fire when Beckham spins the ball in the face of McDonald, the taunting penalty after the touchdown in the end zone, and it has escalated from there.
Tom Coughlin said it yesterday. He knew that this could be a game that gets chippy like this, but he said you have to control yourself under the pressure, and you've got to make sure that you've got to walk away from those things and do it when the ball is snapped. That's when you can get it done.
And that's where you see really this year the difference between these two teams among many is that Jeff Fisher's team's the most penalized team in the league. Tom Coughlin's team among the least penalized teams in the league. Mike Pereira, you know, you've been down on the field for a long time before you got moved up to the head of NFL officials. When you're down there on the field right now, what is going on in that meeting with nearly every official involved in it?
Well, the one thing they're trying to decide here is who are they going to eject? I mean, I think that you're going to have offsetting personal fouls, I'm sure. Certainly Ogletree starts the whole thing with the late shove down and then the second shove, but you get a punch or two that's thrown.
Yep.
As
After
an
the
official,
player
first
went
you're
out of
trying to
bounds,
go.
there's multiple fouls on the play and some ejections. Ejected from the game will be number 83 for the New York Giants and number 95 for New York, and number 95 for St. Louis, and 98 for the New York Giants. There was a foul against an official on this play. We will go 15 yards against St. Louis and then bring the flag back and make it 1st and 25. And 52 personal foul on defense.
All right, so we have had DeMontre Moore,
Preston Parker
of the Giants, and then we had William Hayes, backup defensive end for the Rams. Mike, please finish your thought there, but while they try to figure out where the ball is going to be.
83 was the one that we thought would be ejected. The other thing is now is when you go to the coaches, and I think Pete Morelli's got to do that in his crew and say this has to stop. And I have seen games shut down where referees, certainly what I would do in the situation, as Pete is doing right now, I'm sure he's telling Tom Coughlin, and he'll tell Jeff Fisher the same thing. We got to get this game under control, and if somebody even breathes on an opponent, we're going to call fouls until we get it under control. And that's about the only way you can get a game like this back under control and get it in hand.
Well, you saw, as Mike Pereira mentioned, Preston Parker got wrapped up in the whole sort of pile, getting pushed and shoved, and then he decided to throw a right hook at somebody. Demontre Moore, who wasn't even on the field, gets involved over on the sideline. He's been thrown out. And as we mentioned, William Hayes also ejected. This is ugly, isn't it, Mike?
Guys, and I will say this. It's probably not the last of it either, because the league will go over all of this film, and they are really, really strict when it comes to fighting. So even players that weren't called for fouls or disqualified might end up with those fine letters next week. The league does not like this scene, period, and they will address it, I assure you.
All right, Mike Pereira, thank you very much. We are trying to find out if Pete Morelli's microphone went out when announcing a third Giant being ejected in this game. I'm sure Tom Coughlin, as Mike Pereira just mentioned, is wanting to know, okay, once we've sorted all that out, where's the ball going to be? As Demontre Moore is led back into the locker room after being thrown out. Question is, did Jonathan Hankins get thrown out of this game? We told you about Parker and we told you about Moore.
And those were the only two that we've seen walk off of the field into the locker room with William Hayes.
So first down, going all the way back to the 13-yard line, making second down.
This is a 2-minute warning at 1:57.
So we are at the 2-minute warning. Boy, crazy here in St. Louis. And 11 for the Giants. Donnell is driven to the ground by Ogletree, and the Giants will punt with under 2 minutes to play until halftime. And we check in downstairs right in the heart of the action with Laura Oakman. You all right down there?
Thanks for checking in. I want my dad to know I am okay.
Good.
But in all actuality, not surprising that all these scrums have had Odell Beckham Jr. in the middle of it. The Rams defense has been talking about him all week. While the media and the fans in New York loves the attention Odell has gotten, defenses don't, especially veteran defense. That's what they've been talking about this week, about not only his success, but the celebrations that come after with it. So not a surprise at all that there's been a lot of scrums with Odell in the middle.
Not a surprise at all. When a young player comes along and they make some of the plays and some of the highlights we've seen, and then you throw in some of the celebrations, which a lot of guys still don't like. Some of the young fans might like it, but some of the veteran players don't like it at all, and it is official. Jonathan Hankins was not ejected. Parker, Moore for the Giants, Hayes for the Rams. Rutherford. Beautiful punt, backing up Austin to the 24-yard line. Boy, he got a big block. Man still on his feet. Mercy, mercy, and now flags come flying again. Boy, there was an incredible hit down there on a block. Yeah, Darren Bates, number 53 of the Rams.
Delayed hit by Zach Diassi, out of bounds right there.
And this will tack on another 15 yards to a pretty good return. Boy, and these coaches and these officials do indeed need to get this game back on track, because this is not good. And you run the risk of very, very serious injury to players on both teams when you're hitting guys 3 and 4 and 5 and 7 yards out of bounds. Dale Shaw, the back judge, being pulled aside by Pete Morelli.
We have 2 fouls after the play. Illegal block in the back, number 31 of the receiving team. Late hit out of bounds, personal foul, number 51, 5-1 of the Giants. By rule, those fouls will offset. The ball be placed where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
Okay, they had a lot to get through there.
They've had a lot to get through in this last 5 minutes of this game, that's for sure.
Well, 54-yard punt, 17-yard return. And the ball will be marked at the 40-yard line. Giants have been penalized for 124 yards, and we are only in the first half. That is a season high for a game. Throw off target, but a nice reception made by Kenny Britt. Gain of 5. Rams have 2 timeouts left and 1:20 to play. Catch good enough for a first down by Cunningham into Giants territory to the 47-yard line. Clock continues to run. 1 minute to go. Hill able to get rid of it just in time. Heavy pressure by Cullen Jenkins.
Cullen Jenkins actually goes unblocked. He actually splits the center and the guard right now, Scott Wells and Davin Joseph, right through the middle of the offense. I mean, you can't have that miscommunication and just let Cullen Jenkins run through.
Jenkins been around a long time. Originally a college free agent. 7 years a starter in Green Bay, finally healthy again. And this is second year as a Giant. Good protection. Catch at the 30-yard line by Stedman Bailey. 45 seconds, and Hill trying to get him to the line of scrimmage. Now they'll call a timeout. 44 ticks remaining. So while we have a moment, let's check in with Kurt Menefee to see what's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we've got your highlights from a busy day so far as the Chargers move into the 6th seed in the AFC with the Ravens' loss. And over in the NFC, the Panthers take over the South lead, leading to a winner-take-all game next week against the Falcons. Highlights at half.
Well, you and I have seen a lot, David Deal, of that NFC South. And look, who's going to kid who? When everybody in the division is well under 500, it ain't been pretty. But somebody's going to win it, and it's right now down to the Falcons and the Panthers.
It's just amazing that the team who loses and doesn't take over the division is going to have a top 10 draft pick. So either you're going into the playoffs or you're going to get a good draft pick. I don't think I've ever seen that in an NFL season.
You're right. First down. Tavon Austin avoids a tackle, tiptoes along the sideline, steps out of bounds into 15. Another first down. Clock stops. 37 seconds left.
Just runs a basic crossing route right through the middle of the defense. That speed of Tavon Austin, Antrell Roll cannot keep up with that one as he's crossing. Gets the first down, but the biggest thing he did is get out of bounds to stop the clock.
So the Rams, who were completely dominated up until about 5 minutes ago, now have a chance with a touchdown to get this to a 3-point game at half. Blitz coming. Catch first of the game by their leading receiver, the tight end Jared Cook. 5-yard gain, clock at 25 seconds. And they still have a timeout left to the Rams. Boy, they're taking a lot of time here. Now they'll be forced to call the timeout. Britt inside the 5 will make it first and goal. And that is their final timeout. 9 seconds left.
In this drive, in this 2-minute drive, they've done a very nice job with the crossing routes. They've hit Tavon Austin with the first, now Kenny Britt. But you are correct, Tom. They did not do a good job of managing the clock and managing the time during this one.
Well, coming up on the Visa halftime, you saw there a moment ago, Kurt Howie, Michael, Jimmy, and company. The Saints and the Dolphins eliminated from the playoffs today. Packers and Steelers clinch playoff spots. Here you look at Brian Schottenheimer, the Rams offensive coordinator. So let's see what he decides to do with 9 seconds left. High snap. That took a lot of time.
He had Stedman Bailey open in the back of the end zone too. That high snap completely hurt and affected the timing of the routes with the quarterback. They weren't on the same page. He tried delivering that one late and just did not give him a good throw.
You know, without that high snap and Hill having to roll right, what, David, you're figuring maybe get 2 shots at it at the end zone, but that play forces you now to kick a field goal.
I mean, just think about how much time they've wasted in this 2-minute drive that they could have had another attempt to take a shot at the end zone and hopefully come up with a touchdown instead of right now settling for a field goal.
20-yarder, and it is good. The Rams will get the ball to start the second half. Well, you'll certainly want to stick around for the second half of this one. Neither one of these teams are going to the playoffs, but some might be going to the disciplinary head of the NFL. (20-13), just about set to begin the second half. Rams will get the football. Nissan, our performance, it excites. Eli Manning, we talked a lot with him yesterday, David Deal, about keeping him upright. His offensive line has done an excellent job, and he's gotten the ball out of his hand quickly and on target.
Yeah, they've been able to run the quick routes, be able to slice it out there to the wide receivers. Now I think the second half, they have got to run the ball more effectively than they did in the first half. They've got to get things going because they cannot rely solely on Odell Beckham Jr. Not to mention these penalties. Right now, the Giants have 9 for 124 yards. They're averaging 6 on the season. And when you're on the road in the second half, if you continue to follow the undisciplined play and the selfish plays, they're going to catch up to you, and you're going to lose football games that way.
Well, it'll be interesting to see very early on in this second half if perhaps